Welcome, friends. Liam Murphy back to rip another Ball Mania 5 today. Trying to repeat as champion over here. Just spent the morning updating my ranks for Ball Mania and Underdog. And so one of my favorite things to do as soon as I update my ranks is to, of course, do a draft. You can get those rankings over at beatbestball.com. I'll have my DraftKings ranks updated shortly as well. This time of year, there's not a lot of active news where CD Lamb at the 102. Finally, I get another 102 pick, first or second, that is. I'm running way below expectation. This time of year, there's not a lot of news to act on, right? We get some blurbs, and I think it's key that you don't overreact to some of this. I do want to be baking in news, but, just to give you an example of some blurbs that maybe some less experienced people would jump on, or the people who just kind of like go with the crowd, is you have to keep in mind pads are not on right now. And so if you get a blurb about some dude looking good, etc., and they're like a small, quick dude, they should look good. There's no pads, right? It's really hard for any running back to stick out at this time of year as well. So I do bake in things at the back end of drafts. For example, like Cedric Tillman got buzz over Elijah Moore. Okay, so I'll move Elijah Moore below Cedric Tillman, but he's not really a player I'm going out of the way to risk it on. If you do enjoy these free streams, please do drop a like, hit the subscribe button. On the road to 5K, we're currently at 4.69. Nice. Let's get some nices in the chat. Yo, good morning. Let's go. Thoughts on Cade Otton? I've somehow found myself with 25%. I wouldn't be doing that, but it's fine. I would say the Bucks play the Panthers week 17. That's generally a plus matchup for that team. We don't expect the Panthers to be the best team in the world, so the Bucks could have the ball a lot of the game. Unfortunately, that could also mean they're running out the clock if the Panthers can't keep up. He's a fine player. He's going to be running routes. He's not going to be a zero on the year. He's kind of like what you're hoping for with him is basically what Juwan Johnson did last year, a.k.a. tight end, extremely dependent on falling in the end zone. Very little upside case, right? He's not going to likely ascend to be the second target in Tampa. Tampa's not like Baker Mayfield's not all of a sudden going to become prime Tom Brady or anything like that. So he's a fine player, but I don't really see a huge upside case for him. Love the duality of the chat. 24-hour stream at 5K. Why would anyone stream for 24 hours? Oh, good question. No, I don't think I'll do a 24-hour live stream. I do value my life a little bit more than that. And yeah, I think Debo's a really nice pick to add on to Dallas pieces. Lamb stacks, that is, because you're not taking CMC, so you're leveraging off of him. And it really feels like you're just going to have this is free, by the way, on my site if you don't have the playoff schedule, but really feels to me like if you don't have a San Francisco piece, just hang up the cleats for the playoff weeks, because they play Rams, potential shootout, at Miami, potential shootout, against Detroit, potential shootout. So really good team, nutted schedule. I try to get a San Francisco piece in every single draft. And I'm going to have an article coming out soon with the, just kind of like the playoff pieces I really want to have. Okay. Now let's assess this room. Wide receiver heavy as always. I keep on taking running backs early on these stream drafts and getting punished for it. So even though I like Kyron a lot, I have a lot of him, so I'm going to ease off here. Let's go with Malik Neighbors. Malik Neighbors, some people comp him to Jamar Chase in talent. Significant discount off of Marvin Harrison. Going to be the unquestionable one for the Giants. Touchdown upside is questionable. Attached to Daniel Jones, but I like him as a pick still. Am I still playing Ayuk as if he's staying then? Absolutely. I have Ayuk and Nico ranked ahead of Drake London, who Drake London's nice. And maybe he does become this 85, 90% of Justin Jefferson. But I also think that there is some downside concerns in Atlanta with Kirk Cousins. Like, what is Kirk Cousins going to be off of injury? I don't think we can just assume he's going to be 100%. Is Kirk Cousins benched later in the year? And then Kyle Pitts was hurt last year. I'm assuming he's not anymore, from what I can tell. And so if Kyle Pitts is equal or even ahead of Drake London in target order, so all those questions have me questioning his weekly upside compared to a Ayuk or Nico, who I would say has worse season-long outlooks, most likely, just because they face stiffer target competition. But I'm very confident their weekly upside of 40 points is intact. David Montgomery or Ramondre Stevenson, I am a good offense targeter, so I am Montgomery there. But, they're close to each other in my ranks. What up, Best Ball Brian? Become a YouTube member like Best Ball Brian. Greetings. Niners better off getting comp picks for Ayuk. I don't run an NFL team, but it makes no sense to me that a team that really, I don't know how to tell you this, but this could be the Niners' last go of it. Right? You got CMC, old. Kittle, old. Debo, old. Okay, they added Ricky Pearsall. We'll see what he is. They got this Jacob Callan guy. We'll see what he is. Ayuk, young, unquestionable stud. Very, very good. I don't see why a team that is playing in the NFC, which the NFC is much easier to make the Super Bowl than the AFC. It just is. All the good quarterbacks are in the AFC. Josh Allen, Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Lamar. There's not that many good quarterbacks in the NFC comparison-wise. You got Stafford, you got Dak, you got Jalen Hurts, Caleb Williams maybe. We'll see what Kyler is. But these are a far cry from the Mahomes and Allens of the world. Sure. What's this guy doing? Let's go Kincaid, and I'll go McBride too, if he's there. I really like to get the two young guys who could easily be tight end 1 and 2 on the year. I think that's just a really fun pairing. I'm already strong at wide receiver with 3 guys kind of anchoring me there. So it's kind of a luxury I can afford. But yeah, I don't know why the 49ers would do that. If anything, maybe it's a move at the trade deadline. But to me, when you're staring at perhaps so McBride goes, Kirk goes, 2 guys I was in on. Let's go Pacheco. Definitely could see Pacheco way outplaying his ADP. Really like the playoff schedule for the run game a little bit more for Kansas City. At Cleveland, Houston, and then at Pitt week 17. At Pitt week 17, that just screams a Pacheco game, right? Like maybe the Chiefs score quick on him, and then they're just running it in with Pacheco. So I don't the Ayuk trade makes no sense to me. I did tweet this out yesterday. because I don't know what this account is. It's some like random Bitcoin account. But I saw this tweet doing a draft in my bed, and the Galactic Whale says Brandon Ayuk recently started following Chase Claypool on Instagram. And I don't know, like, this guy could be making that up. I have no idea. And I just said, if Chase Claypool lands Brandon Ayuk in Buffalo, he just might actually be a league winner. AKA, that is Chase Claypool's best chance at becoming a league winner. That would be awesome, but it just doesn't make any sense to me. Why would you not trade him before the real NFL draft? It just doesn't make sense to me. If they're going to trade anyone, trade Debo. So no, I don't like, guys. We're here in late June. Training camp starts roughly a month. You got a quarterback. They're only playing Purdy like $1 million. So you have this unique opportunity to go basically all in this year again. One last try. Shout out Stacks and Fuego, the YouTube member. Shipley or Gainwell or pass for last round pick on Underdog. I'm Shipley there. You can check out my feelings, though, at my ranks on my site. People don't seem to care about the week 14 bye. Bye week, bro. Do I have a lot of week? I don't know where that comment's coming from. I don't care about the week 14 bye. Great start. Thank you. If you go tight end early, are you waiting on a quarterback till later? Not always. I think that's an okay rule of thumb to play by, where either you go elite tight end or elite quarterback. But, I will go Mahomes Kelsey. I will go Allen Kincaid. Both those pairings are super fun, where you're getting a discounted elite quarterback compared to past year markets, and potentially the tight end ones on the season to pair with them. And for like this team, okay, obviously I would like Dak and I would like Purdy. Those guys go around the 8th to 10th round. And I don't feel like that's prohibitive to pay for this team when they're stacked. How much do you see Pearsall rising if Ayuk is traded? This Jacob Cowling guy's gotten some buzz, but significantly. And again, I just think people are bored, so they're speculating about the trade. Love Rome here. What's fun about Rome is, he went within like 3 picks in the real NFL draft of Malik Neighbors. He plays for a better quarterback, unquestionably. And he goes in the 6th round pick compared to a third. Yes, Keenan Allen's there. Yes, DJ Moore's there. But we know the contingent upside is there for him. And then we also know that this guy is unquestionably good. Top 10 real NFL pick. So Rome, to me, is a guy who is going to be a 3rd round pick or higher next year. Guys like DeAndre Hopkins, who I like too, or Chris Godwin, they're just not going to be 3rd round picks next year in fantasy football. Let's see here. Yeah, let's go Watson. Mega upside guy, also has downside, and that's kind of how I feel about Keon Coleman and Rice as well. Watson's a guy I was really in on last year as a 3rd round pick. He got hurt, is what it is. Seems like he's done things to rectify that. So fun start here where we got Anchor Pacheco, CeeDee Lamb, Debo, Neighbors, Rome, Watson, Dalton Kincaid. Getting a little division correlation between Rome and Watson. I don't agree that you should read into the 49ers selecting Ricky Pearsall as if they're ready to trade Ayuk. That to me is a giant leap. how I read that is San Fran is staring down older Debo, older Kittle, older CMC. And if they lose two of those dudes, they're no longer the same potency on offense. And so they did something smart where they said, rather than just let our guys get old, and now we're rolling out Juwan Jennings, why don't we take a guy a year early? Or maybe they will trade someone, right? But why don't we take a guy a year early? And that way, as those guys are tapering off, we have a new guy to replace them, and we stay good at every spot. And you need to do that when you don't have an elite quarterback. Purdy is good, but he's not Mahomes. He's not Allen. How valuable is it to get a top 5 quarterback? I feel like there's a lot of value later, so I usually pass on them early. Yeah, and again, that's more of thinking through how do I beat my pod versus how do I win in the playoffs, which are two different questions. A lot of people's default thoughts are, how do I advance? How do I outscore the people in my 12-man pod? A different question is, how do I build the top scoring team week 17 out of 500 people and win $1.5 million? Right? Just is a different question. And so you have to ask yourself is, if you punt off at QB and your QBs are Derek Carr, Bryce Young, and Will Levis, but you're strong everywhere else, are you going to be able to win if your quarterback only scores 15? Maybe. Maybe you will. Maybe the top scoring quarterback that week is only 25 points. It's only a 10-point gap, and you're beating them at the other positions. Or maybe one of the elites goes for 40, and you're dead. So I do like elites. Anytime you have Saquon Barkley, you just got to rip Dak Prescott here. Didn't even auto that, just like smash click Dak there. And that's okay, right? Like, I recently did a, hold on here, let's make a pick. Should I pick 95? Yeah, let's go Bowers. I think Bowers is a really fun second tight end. Bowers plus is the elite tier for me. So I include Bowers, Ferguson, Ingram. I don't draft as much, but he's in there. Kittle's elite. Pitts is elite. All the tight ends could possibly be elite tight ends. Bowers plus. I even think Njoku and Goddard can have good years. Schultz can have a good year. Freiermuth could have a good year. Like, some of these guys could still have good years. But as far as viewed as an elite guy, it's Bowers plus for me. And then you can get Purdy in the 10th. And the question for me is, do I want to just grab someone like him or Caleb right now? If I reach on one of them right now, my chance of getting both of them is pretty good. I could also go like a Mostert. I don't have enough Mostert, and I don't hate him. All right, let's do Mostert. He just ran like way, way, way too hot on touchdowns last year. But we know what it takes for him to smash. So let's do Mostert here. Not a guy I would layer in a ton. So it's kind of nice to get like a guy who maybe a different type of drafter is drafting more with this type of team. And if Mostert is a hit, he's really helping this team where he's a stud RB2. I'm already strong at wideout. I'm already strong at tight end. I'm already strong at RB1. And we'll just hope that one of Caleb or Purdy's here. Did anyone advance a team to week 15 without CMC? 100%. That was easy to do. Even though CMC had a good... I'm assuming you mean week 16. Even though CMC scored well week 15, There's just not that many people in your pod. How do we feel with teams that overachieve early season and then sit players during playoffs? Well, almost no team sits players during the fantasy playoffs, which is what we care about. To be clear, I don't know if this is your first year, but the real NFL playoffs is not the fantasy playoffs. It's not the same thing. No one really sits players weeks 15, etc. Yeah, plus Trent Williams will turn. Yeah, well, there's a lot of aging players on the 49ers too. Some of their key defensive guys are too. Hey, I missed this one, but appreciate you, Best Ball Brian. He gifted a membership. If you received that membership, let me know. Jaden Daniels is, of course, a fun quarterback that I always consider in the 9th round. Um, if he stays healthy, could easily score similar to CJ Stroud. Henry sat, Hurt stat. They were hurt. Okay. I mean, like, Hurts wasn't sitting in the fantasy playoffs because of the real NFL playoffs. He was actually hurt. Like, I don't know what to tell you there. Don't draft guys that get hurt. Purdy with Ayuk and Kittle. That was predictable. Let's see. Who do we have to dodge? We got to dodge this guy going 3 QB, which, I mean, this guy took unstacked Dak, so we're not going to give him too much credit there. Devin Singletary. The Mahomes drafter also just took a naked Mahomes, so he could definitely grab Caleb from us. And it's good to profile people like that in your drafts. Yeah, he goes unstacked Trevor. He's got a Hopkins bring back, but pretty nice to get Caleb there, where Caleb still offers significant upside. Like if he could just come in and have that insane year, 4,500 yards, 30 touchdowns, definitely possible. He's a rookie, of course, so not likely, but definitely possible. Unstacked Dak just sounds nasty. Yeah, like it's just, look, you can win the contest sometime with these unstacked guys, but overwhelmingly you are just capping your ability to win doing things like these guys are doing. And these guys have red badges, so that shows you that badge drafters does not equal sharp, in my opinion. It means they draft a lot. Favorite top 5 quarterback? Easily Allen, especially when he's in the 4th. You can get the QB1 many years running in the 4th round. Sure, Gus. Gus is like Singletary to me, where he's probably being priced up a little bit due to the lack of clarity behind them on the depth chart, which does not mean they are necessarily good picks, right? It just means the market is like, I don't know, J.K. Dobbins or Kamani. And it's like, I don't know, Tyrone Tracy or Eric Gray. But Gus at least plays for what I think will be a good team. I think the Chargers have a really good O-line where they already had a good tackle. They selected another, like the best tackle in the draft. So it seems like, Greg Roman is a run game guy, has familiarity with Gus. His upside is questionable. Gus, that is, as far as like being a true league winner. But, he had 13 touchdowns and still didn't spike that much, but perhaps he can have some more 2-3 touchdown games. Plays the Patriots week 17, and in general has a really good fantasy schedule for the run game, like arguably the best. Tampa, Denver, New England, 3 teams that could be bad, especially Denver and New England. So could be a guy that determines who wins in the fantasy playoffs. And I mean, J.K. Dobbins, significant injuries, multiple years running, is getting almost no guaranteed money. Seems like Greg Roman is doing the guy solid, maybe even just letting him rehab with the team. The Chiefs decided to pass on J.K. Dobbins when their RB2 is CEH. That's a bad sign. And Kamani Vidal, even though athletic freak, it sounds like, could be really good, actually. A little bit of that Pacheco undrafted free agent. But he is a 6th-round rookie going in the 150. So I do draft Kamani, but I want to be taking, and I'm not drafting Gus at all right now, but it's June. Guys that I'm not drafting at all right now, including Chubb, Dobbins, Hawkinson, these injured guys, is because it's June. And in the past, I've kind of been more willing to gamble on injured players. And I just don't really see the need for guys with questionable ceilings, in my opinion. Where I really don't see them rocketing up draft boards, even if they get positive reporting. And if they get even neutral to positive reporting, I can start mixing them in, and that'll be fine. Thoughts on Bills' season win total, 10.5? About right to me. I wouldn't say it's like a smash over. A lot of people are picking the under on them. I don't agree with that. We can go through their schedule. But, yeah, I think the Bills will be good. Let's go. Do we have any quarterbacks? No, not really. Let's go Jalen Wright. Doubling up the Miami backfield feels good. Yes, we have a lot of week 6 buys on this team right now, so we'll have to figure that out later in the draft. But Wright, Mostert, Wright, Achane, Mostert, Achane, Achane, Wright, whatever. They all seem good to me to double up on. We saw how valuable that team is. Their playoffs, their week 17 game, if the Browns D is as good as they were last year, teams seem to attack them on the ground game a little bit more. So I like Wright quite a bit. He's drawing more live to be a 0 than some guys, but even if it's like Mostert's playing for me and then he's out, and now Wright's playing for me and now Mostert's back, that's fine for this team. With all the content out there and 150 entrants per person, I feel like doing well in BBM is just randomness. Disagree there. Let's go Ray Davis, too. Get another running back I feel good about. Realizing your equity is hard, even if you play well, but building sharp teams, having the correct player takes, these are not random things. They're just not. Right? Now, you can be the best builder, have the best player takes, and you won't win, but you're speaking about the elements of just tournaments in general. Do you ever look at Vegas betting lines when forming your opinions on players? I take a peek at props and things like that, occasionally prop lines, but I'm not making overarching strategies based on them. He gave the example as one that stands out to me is Achane's betting line is only at 750 rushing yards. I don't care if they propped Achan at 600 yards. You don't draft Achan because you're looking for a guy to hit your running back one spot every single week of the season off of 20 carries. That's not why you draft him. And that's not why you rank him high. You draft Achan because he has 50-point upside. And he gave literally 50% of his games were over 20 points last year. That's why you draft Achan. So that's not always captured in, and also prop lines are medians. They're not ceiling projections. And also sometimes you can literally only bet $50 on it. So the book doesn't even care if they're right or not. It's just something for some, people to have fun with. Hey, Smooth Criminal got the best ball, Brian. Will I be doing more Battle Royale content in season? I'm still thinking out my in-season plan. But yeah, I think I'll be doing a mix of. I'll probably just write up every NFL game, or at least like from a DFS perspective, give some guys I like, and maybe some Battle Royale stuff. Knowing ball isn't random, absolutely. Have you done any DK drafts? Yes. I don't stream as much there, but I do. That's not true, Alex. Like I just people just like listen to things and they like to put words in each other's mouth. People say don't reach too far. People like you say don't reach too far off of ADP. I feel like I push far more the opposite of that. Now, don't get me wrong. Like yesterday, someone took Pacheco in the second round. That is bad to me. But from here, I just took Ray Davis and Jalen Wright 10 to 20 picks above their ADP. Let's go Rodgers here. Just try not to reach too much on the early picks. No need to. I mean, agree to disagree. Again. Well, by the way, let me first link this. If you want to check out my new rankings at Underdog, you can find them here. But, I would argue me winning 3 best ball contests shows that, yes, there's randomness and luck in every type of tournament setting, but not that, obviously a skill game. Okay. And now we're going to go Malachi Corley. He's definitely a guy who's drawing live to be a 0 if Xavier Gibson pushes him out, or if Mike Williams is just like steady, or if Tyler Conklin's ahead of him, or like Jeremy Ruckert. But, he's a rookie, stacks with Rodgers. That's why I took Rodgers. So fits the bill for this team. But yeah, I wrote literally a free article about reaching on first round picks and how people don't do this. So you can read that here. $100% free. You don't even need a subscription to read this one, but the field just doesn't do this, right? So these are the guys kind of paired with CeeDee Lamb last year, 10%, 12.5, 12. Compared to the 2-3 turn guys, sub 1%, sub 0.5%. So I would argue the projection difference of Devonta Smith versus Saquon in a given week is not enough to warrant a, nearly 15 times combination. So I think it's fine to reach on first round picks within reason. I'll win with this lineup since that guy took Dak, just like how I won BBM2 after the guy sniped Joe Burrow. Maybe. I think Rodgers is a fun QB2 where I thought the Jets were going to be really good last year just from that watching a little bit of that game. It's nice that he stacks with Dalton Kincaid for this team for week 17. And how you attack the Jets defense last year with their corners healthy is at least through the run and through the tight end game. Kincaid had 2 fine games against the Jets, just needed to score a touchdown. Could easily be the tight end 1 on the year. And Rodgers, you're hoping for 35 to 4,000 yards, maybe a little bit more, but really just running hot in the touchdown department, 35 touchdowns, which he could easily do. Yes, maybe he's a disaster, but he's an upside guy to me. Again, if you like this free content, please do like and subscribe. I'm on the road to 5K subscribers. Thoughts on Rodgers as a person? Kind of a weirdo to me. Don't really want to spend a lot of time on that. But yeah, definitely a weirdo. Like, does all this like attention climbing stuff, but I don't know. That's not neither really here nor there. And I'm a Bills fan, so it would be easy for some people to be like, no, the Jets stink because I like the Bills. That's not my style. I try to think through things a little bit more clearly. Luke McCaffrey, a guy I really like. I think he could easily beat out Jahan Dotson. Even if not, there's no one on that depth chart that makes me think that he won't at worst be the wide receiver 3. He's straight up listed there right now, right? Like Jameson Crowder back from the dead, maybe. Olmide Zacchaeus, no. Brown, no. Damiere Byrd, come on. So it's nice where you get the safety and upside. Would have gone Braylon Allen as another running back to stack with Rodgers. Yeah, I think we'll go Daniel Jones here. I think a third quarterback is warranted with Caleb and Rodgers. Not always. I would stop at 2 quite a bit here, but with me having Neighbors for the stack, just seems to make sense. The scary thing about him, of course, is with his contract, if they aren't good, he could be benched late in the season. Drew Lock has not been playing well per reports, so no real worries to start the season. And not impossible that, like the Giants, they improved their defense. Could definitely make a run at the playoffs like they did a couple of years ago. And Neighbors really raises the ceiling of Daniel Jones, where we're drafting him mostly for his rushing ability. But if Neighbors is the type of guy where you can like give him a dump off and he's going to go score for you, Jones could get some easier fantasy points that way. You went on Tyler Conklin this year. Questions like that can be answered by my rankings, but absolutely yes. Jaden Daniels makes all the Washington pass catchers good picks, in my opinion. I agree because he profiles as a down the field thrower, which is friendly in best ball. And even Jahan Dotson, who I have not been taking a lot of, I mix him in when I have Daniels or Atlanta pieces. So the team so far is Caleb, Rogers, Daniel Jones. 3 quarterbacks who offer upside at a cheap price. Pacheco, Mostert, Gus Edwards, Jalen Wright, Ray Davis. I'm going to tack on a 6th running back here. Because I think this team needs it, right? Like Mostert could fall off as the season goes. I have Wright and Mostert. Gus could fall off as the season goes. Ray Davis could start a little slow. CeeDee Lamb, Debo, Neighbors, Roma Dunze, Christian Watson, Malachi Corley, Luke McCaffrey. Arguably a little thin at wideout, but still, like I've invested the capital. I want Watson to be the Green Bay one. I want Rome to be the 1 or 2. Neighbors is the 1. Debo just to keep on doing Debo things. Lamb to do Lamb things. And then Corley, ideally he develops to like the 2nd target for the Jets after Garrett Wilson, but even if he's the 3rd, as long as Xavier Gibson is not ahead of him, which is possible. And then Luke McCaffrey, at worst the 3rd wide receiver for Washington, but could be the 4th target after, or even the 5th target after Sanat and Eckler. And then Kincaid and Bowers, 2 tight ends that offer huge upside. I'm saying thin at wideout just because of the question marks. But yeah, I mean, the wide receiver room is strong. What's a player or two you've recently turned the corner on and started bringing on board? I haven't actually been drafting them, but I did recently bump up Derrick Henry and George Pickens because I see the single week upside of them both. But like with Pickens, I just have concerns of expensive Steelers passing pieces, and he's not a separator. And with Henry, he's old. He wasn't the bell cow last year. He's got a lot of touches, so just not my favorite pick to be paying expensive old running backs. But I do want to mix them in a little bit. I don't want to enter the season with none of them. Okay. I mean, a big gamble here at running back. It's all a big question mark. But the thing about Evan Hull is he at least correlates with Daniel Jones for Week 17 game stack. Trey Sermon did get some buzz. But again, I'm adding like my context to that situation is okay. Trey Sermon got buzz, but Evan Hull was injured last year, so it wouldn't really be logical to me that Hull would in May or in early June, Hull would just hit the ground running as the RB2 behind JT. It kind of makes sense that they would go with the healthy guy, right? And so I think Hull at worst will be the pass catching back. And I don't think Trey Sermon is good. So like Trey Sermon kind of has to prove it to me. But he's a guy I've cooled off a little bit on just because it could be Goodson, it could be Sermon. But, ultimately a 0 in round 18 won't kill me. And the thing about Herman, Sermon, Hull, and Goodwin, I think his name is Goodwin, is they're all extremely athletic, which the Colts are a team that drafts a lot of athletes. So the team, Caleb Williams, Aaron Rodgers, Daniel Jones. Isaiah Pacheco, Raheem Mostert, Gus Edwards, Jalen Wright, Ray Davis, Evan Hull. Definitely questions at running back, but you hope that Pacheco hits your lineup the whole season. Mostert's giving you a lot of weeks, if not him, at least Wright. Gus is giving you a bunch of weeks. Ray Davis, goal line back in Buffalo, is the hope. And then Hull, we'll see. Stacked with Daniel Jones for week 17. CeeDee Lamb, Deebo Samuel, Malik Neighbors, Rome Odunze, Christian Watson, Malachi Corey, Luke McCaffrey. A lot of upside in this wide receiver room. Got some veterans and some rookies mixed in. Kincaid and Bowers, 2 swings at top 5 tight ends. Week 17 game stacks. We have Rodgers, Davis, Kincaid, and Malachi Corley. We have Daniel Jones, Malik Neighbors, and Evan Hull. And I don't think we have any secondary stacks on this team. No. Can we see the big dog? You can. Here. $99 for the year covers you for all my rankings, all of my playoff best ball rankings, all of my preseason big board rankings, and all of my in-season content. I broke down the big dog draft here. Do you have any players with 0 exposure? Absolutely. Many. All right, guys and girls. That's going to be it for me today. I'm going to go back to writing one of my articles now. And hope you guys have a great day. I will be back tomorrow evening with another stream. Peace out.